Fungi in the news. In one headline, scientists are trying to find a method to prevent fungus, and on another, they are using fungi to create many life-saving medicines. First, scientists at the National University of Mexico have tested and are using the essential oils from oregano and eucalyptus in a vapor form to keep fruits and vegetables fungi-free. So far, this amazing breakthrough has been able to eliminate many different fungi, accounting to 45% of economic losses. The same scientists now are trying to team up with the packaging companies in order to use their methods in the packaging and storing of the produce. Next, from an article by David Law, the CEO and president of Gourmet Mushrooms, who has studied mushrooms in depth and their influence in the medical world. Mushrooms have been studied mainly in the East and used as ancient medicines for centuries, but now are beginning to be tested in labs. Mushrooms affect the human's immune, neural, and hormonal systems. Mushrooms are capable of elevating the immune system of those going through chemotherapy and even help the body regulate the development of lymphoid stem cells and other important defense responses. The Zygomycota is a phylum in the fungi kingdom. The Zygomycota is defined for its reproduction. It, like the other phylums, produces asexually and sexually, in which it forms zygospores. The Zygomycota is a very small phylum of fungi, making up only 1%. Some of these fungi are parasites of small animals and plants, and others grow symbiotically with plants. They are microscopic and common in wet areas. Most people know them from appearing on breads and strawberries. Basidiomycota is a subkingdom of Dicaria, which then is a subkingdom of the overall fungi kingdom. What differentiates the Basidiomycota is that they are mainly known for the production of large fruit bodies, for example, mushrooms, puffballs, and brackets. However, the Basidiomycota subkingdom also has some microscopic fungi. Many of the microscopic fungi are the cause of lots of diseases, including infections in the lungs. The larger fungi are incredibly helpful in the process of decaying wood, which is very important to the maintaining of our forest and to biomes everywhere. Eukaryote cells belong to the taxon Eukarya. The defining feature that sets eukaryotic cells apart from prokaryotic cells is that they have membrane-bound organelles, especially the nucleus, which contains the genetic material and is enclosed by the nuclear envelope. Eukaryotic cells have an organized nucleus with a nuclear envelope.
Ribosomes are protein builders, or you can call them the protein synthesizers of the cell. They're found in many places. They float in the cytosol. They make proteins that will be used inside of the cell, and they're very large complexes composed of RNA and protein. They use the genetic code to read the nucleotide sequence of a messenger RNA into protein sequence. Fungi cells, they typically have many thousands of ribosomes in them. Golgi bodies are usually located near the nucleus and are very large in size. It's a collection of flattened membrane sacs called cisternae that carry out the processing, packaging, and sorting of many cellular products. It packages and distributes cells' chemical products. It modifies proteins and fats that have been built in the ER and prepares them for export outside the cell or transport to other locations in the cell. Many molecules formed in the ER are then sent to the Golgi bodies to be biochemically modified during their transition from the cisternae to the transpoles of the complex. Rough ER, unlike smooth ER, is a maze-looking structure dotted by ribosomes. Its function is to produce protein and distribute them. Since ribosomes are on the outside of the structure, the creation of proteins is such a fast process. Smooth ER looks like tubes connected, and the main function of the smooth ER is to create cellular products such as hormones and fats. It also regulates calcium and processes toxins. And it doesn't have any enzymes related to it, therefore it's able to produce whatever's necessary for the organism. The cytoskeleton is a beam that structurally supports the cell's shape. It's very thin, stretched out, and flexible. It contains a wide variety of proteins and fills the cytoplasm. The proteins that make up the cytoskeleton are both strong and flexible. So, as I said before, it's responsible for the cell shape, but also the movement of the cell. The cytoskeleton allows the cell to change shape, complete cell division, or migrate. It provides mechanical support that enables cells to carry out essential functions like division and movement, and it also organizes the organelles within the cell.
Cell membrane. A cell membrane is a thin structure that is also known as the plasma membrane. Its function is maintain the physical integrity of the cell, which is to enclose the contents of the cell and also to control the movement of particles. The cell membrane creates a barrier between the inside of the cell and the environment outside the cell. Also, it protects the cell from harmful chemicals in the external environment. The cell wall is the outermost part of the cell. The cell wall is very important to the cell because it protects the cell from pressure and environmental changes, while still allowing it to interact with its environment. The cell wall is constantly changing due to cell division in order to maintain the protection it provides, like an army. The cell wall is made up of chitin, glucans, and other polymers. The cell wall is found in fungi, plant, and bacterial cells, and limits the cells to less morphing than an animal cell, for instance. The cell nucleus acts like the brain of the cell. It helps control eating, movement, and reproduction. The nucleus is not always in the center of the cell. It will be a big, dark spot somewhere in the middle of all the cytoplasm. The nucleus regulates all cell activity. It does this by controlling the enzymes present. The chromatin is composed of DNA. DNA contains the information of the production of proteins. This information is encoded in the 4 DNA bases: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. The specific sequence of these bases tells the cell what order to put the amino acids. There are 3 processes that enable the cell to manufacture protein. Replication allows the nucleus to make exact copies of its DNA. Transcription allows the cell to make RNA, working copies of its DNA. In translation, the messenger RNA is used to line up amino acids into a protein molecule.
The nucleus of many eukaryotic cells contains a structure called a nucleolus. As the nucleus is the brain of the cell, the nucleolus could loosely be thought of as the brain of the nucleus. The nucleolus takes up about 25% of the volume of the nucleus. The structure is made up of proteins and RNA. Its main function is to rewrite RNA and combine it with proteins. The result in the formation of incomplete ribosomes. There is an uninterrupted chain between the nucleoplasm and the interior parts of the nucleolus, which occurs through a system of nucleolar passages. Cytosol is the intracellular fluid that is present inside the cells. It is the part of the cytoplasm that is not held by any of the organelles in the cell. On the other hand, cytoplasm is the part of the cell which is contained within the entire cell membrane. It is the total content within the cell membrane other than the contents of the nucleus of the cell. Cytoplasm is a thick solution that fills each cell and is enclosed by the cell membrane. It is mainly composed of water, salts, and proteins. In eukaryotic cells, the cytoplasm includes all of the material inside the cell and outside of the nucleus. Most of the important activities of the cell occur in the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm contains molecules such as enzymes, which are responsible for breaking down waste and also aid in metabolic activity. The cytoplasm gives the cell its shape. It helps to fill out the cell and keeps organelles in their place.
The main function of the lysosome is to serve as a digestive compartment for the cell, like a trash compactor. The lysosome uses a process called autophagy to break down the cell's waste products, fats, carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. It breaks these down and then releases them into the cytoplasm as new cell-building materials. The lysosome uses 40 different types of enzymes in order to speed up the reactions. Lysosome's physical qualities are round and spherical, and protected by a single-layer membrane which protects it from all the acidic enzymes. Lysosomes are not just found in fungi cells, they are also in all animal cells and numerous in white blood cells too.